YouTube channel. This is your first time here. Welcome to the Fam Bam. I hope you love it here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell down below so you don't miss any future uploads. And if this is not your first time here, then hey sis, welcome back. I'm glad you came back to join us. Today I am doing the long awaited pros and cons of ATL video. All right. A lot of you have been waiting on this for months. I know my brother has been waiting on this for a long time, but I purposely took my time getting to this because I wanted to make sure that I've had enough time to marinate down here so I can give a balanced view, you know. Now I will go ahead and put a trigger warning out. If you are ATL native or ATL stan, you might be a little bit triggered by what I say in this video. So hold on to your edges, all right? Because I am giving you the cons unfiltered through my lens, the pros unfiltered through my lens, and then my final kind of judgment, you know, like don't be mad, all right? It's nothing personal. It's just what my experience has been. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and put that trigger warning out there. Now to give you guys some context, my family has been down here for almost 6 months. So we specifically left Virginia October 17th. We didn't get down here till really late on October 18th, basically into October 19th. And today is March 26th, I think. So it's been almost 6 months. I also live in Poland County. So those of you who are familiar with the ATL area, that should help you as well. Now, I am familiar with the other counties because I freelance and I'm often in Cobb County or Fulton County. I have family in DeKalb County, but I have not really been out there like that since we've been here, except for 1 or 2 times. And I have briefly been into Clayton. I think it was Clayton County or it was Henry, either way. But that should let you guys know kind of where I'm at. So before I get into today's video and this get ready with me, I have to cut into our sponsor. Thank you so much, Brown Sugar Manual, for sponsoring this video on today. You guys check her out. Her links are down below to her page. She is a personal life coach and she is ready to get your mind right. So let's cut into this sponsorship clip and then I'll be right back to give you my pros and cons. Another huge thank you to our sponsor today, Brown Sugar Manual. On Instagram, she goes by brown_sugar_manual_. Make sure you check her out. She is a personal mindset and life coach, and she is dedicated to helping ambitious Black women achieve massive results in their lives, their businesses, and their careers. The program is a 90-day coaching program that comes with weekly coaching calls, assignments to achieve massive results, and of course, accountability. The program covers improvements starting with your mindset, and of course that trickles into your business, your career, and your personal life, because we know success starts with the mind. Dakisha has put these things into practice herself, so she is speaking from experience and from a level of expertise. You will not regret her strategies. Make sure you check out Brown Sugar Manual today. Her link is in the description box below. Now let's get into the video. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this. Get ready with me. I don't know why I'm getting ready because I ain't going nowhere. But also before I dive in, I want to say that I hope everybody's holding up okay, given everything that's going on. As someone that struggles with anxiety, some days have been really tough. I literally get like life from getting out and getting human interaction. So it is really hard. And my prayers are with everyone. If you need anybody to talk to pray with you and for you, never be afraid to DM me on Instagram. My link is down below. And also I also put a post up yesterday, I believe, with some jobs that you could do from home, and I'll try to keep you guys updated because like I said, I freelance for a living, so I've been doing this for almost 5 years, and any information that I can share, I will gladly share. So don't be afraid to hit me up on there. All right, so let's start with the cons. All right, and you guys know the drill. I'm using the same things I usually use, and I'm looking down in my mirror. But cons of ATL. So the first con for me, to be completely frank, is the fact that people out here are just very like, I don't know, they're just very fake. I'm just going to be real. Like, you know, they're very fake, very self-seeking, very fraudulent, very selfish. It's just like, and I know that's not everybody because someone's going to be like, that's not everybody. I know it's not everybody, but compared to the DMV, and maybe it's because I'm from the DMV, so I saw it from another angle. It's just like, I keep seeing snakes. It's like every time I get an inch and I think, okay, we're making some progress here, I like get it snatched away from me and I'm back. I'm back where I started, you know, and it's just like people will literally nickel and dime you here. They will take advantage of your situation. They will be all friendly with you as long as they feel like they can get something from you, especially when you're new down here. And then when they see they're not getting it, they fall back. You have a lot of groupies down here who want to act like they got big things popping, but really they're just groupies. Like, you know, for instance, they might say like, oh yeah, I'm an artist, or I'm this, or I'm that. But in all actuality, they're just a groupie to someone who really is an artist. Or they might act like they got real connects in the entertainment industry, but they really just a groupie to someone who does. Or, you know, everybody's like gassing up what they do. And to piggyback off of that, another con would be that it's hard to find just genuine people to chill with. You know, this is going to be a very light makeup look because your girl does not have lashes and I ain't going nowhere. So why am I doing the most? It's going to be like a barely there makeup look. But, you know, another con would be that it's very hard to just find genuine people to kick it with. You know, I feel like in the DMV, I pretty much knew that we could be a little elitist in ways. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, people want to be around the who's who, more so in the political sense or the government sense or the certain business senses. They want to be around those people, the movers and shakers, and you know that, so you move accordingly. But it's not a problem to find just chill people to kick it with. You know, like, can they be a little fake? Of course. I feel like every city's gonna have fake people, but here it's a whole nother animal. And I know because there's so many people moving here. Last time I had research, it was like 20,000 people a month moving to Atlanta. So that's almost 1,000 people a day moving from all corners of the earth, okay, in the country. So when you think about that and you have all these types of people coming together, you're bound to see the snakes, the fakes, and just everything in between, you know. I also find that it can be quite elitist down here as well. You know, in DC, I felt like that was the biggest problem, but here it's like you're dealing with fake people and elitists. Like, you're dealing with it all. You know, everything that you can think of as far as people's flaws, you're dealing with it. And people take this whole, it's the Black Hollywood, and it's this and it's that to heart. And it's like, they're just not real. Like, just real down-to-earth people that are going to be like, look, I'm dealing with this, I've dealt with that, I'm about this, I'm about that. That is so hard to find. And it's like, even just to find someone to just kick it with, like I said, because everything down here is like, we can go out and do something. Let's go out to eat at this fancy restaurant. Let's go to this place and do that. I just want friends where I could just chill. Like, not right now, granted, but it's like, you could just come over to my house and we just kick it. Like, we don't have to spend money. We don't have to get dolled up. We don't have to do any of that. Like, let's just relax. And again, this could be because when I moved here, the circumstances around getting here went left really quick, but I'm just not impressed, sis. Like, and I heard people say it before, because before we moved here, you know what? Let me switch my foundation, because last time this thing squirted. This NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. It squirted everywhere and got all over my wall. I had to get the sponge and wipe it out. Where's my makeup? Oh, I'm going to use something that's safer, because ain't nobody got time to be scrubbing the wall tonight. I'm going to just stick with my clean collection. Let's do that. I don't want to waste my matte and poreless, my fave. But, yeah, it's just like the circumstances that we took to get here definitely made me feel some type of way. And that's when I realized, like, how fake people are. And they'll tell you, oh, I got this going on, I got that going on, I'm making these moves, that move. And when it gets down to it, it's like, where's it at though? Like you say you got all this money, you say you got all these connects, where it at? Where it at, sis? Where it at, bro? Like, come on. Like, I can't stand when people talk and they're not about it. Like, you guys who follow me on Instagram, you know I'm big on this. I'm about action. Like, we can sit here and talk all day about who we know, what we gonna do, this, that, the third, but if it's not showing evidence, I don't really want to hear all that. Like, I just don't, you know. And it's just like, yeah, so that's the biggest con for me, the people, for a fact. Now, I don't know if location makes a difference. Maybe if I went to different places. Like, I can say I did end up kind of in the hood freelancing. This isn't going to be the perfect face because I don't feel like taking off this turban. But I did end up in the hood one night doing Postmates. And the people were real cool there. Like, like I told y'all a couple of videos ago, I could be around anybody, you know, my story time. I could be around hood people. I could be around bougie people. You know, I just like people that are true to themselves and don't have all that extra fluff and just extra nonsense. You know, like, let's be real about who we are. So the people were very, very nice. The food was banging because I ended up getting a freebie because the person didn't answer the door, and Postmates was like, you could keep it. I was like, for the win. Food was banging. People were like down to earth. The ladies kept complimenting my makeup, and I wasn't even like, you know, looking super cute in any way that I thought. And the men were like gentlemen-like they were holding my hand to walk up the steps to the restaurant and stuff. So maybe it's just who I keep running into. Because like I said, I do spend a lot of time in Cobb County and in Fulton County, like Sandy Springs area and stuff when I'm working. And the people could just be a lot. Like, they're just too much. And, yeah, so that's enough on the people and finding cool people to kick it with. Another con for me will be the job market. The job market is pretty iffy down here. It's really hit or miss. Like, that's another thing I would give DC extra points on, because you can go there anytime and you can find something. I would even give cities like New York a little bit extra. New York, you can hustle. It's going to be hard to find a quote unquote career job depending on what you do, but you can hustle in New York. So if you're someone who can hustle, you can make it in New York. DC, the freelance game was surprisingly better. And granted, I came from a small town in Central Virginia called Spotsylvania, and it was like just north of Richmond, like 40 minutes north of Richmond, just past Fredericksburg and stuff like that. And when I tell you I used to make hundreds of dollars a day freelancing, I used to kill the game. All right, like, money was not an issue. And this is me not even freelancing full time, for real. I didn't have to break my back to make money up there like I do down here. Like, the same amount of money I would make in a day in Spotsylvania, I would have to work like a day and a half down here to get that same money. And I would have to work my behind off. I'm talking like go out of Fulton County for the most part. I could do some here. And honestly, some of my best orders come from here. But for the most part, I would have to go to at least Cumberland Mall area, between Cumberland Mall and where I live. And I'll just have to be going. And people don't tip as good here either, from what I've seen. Like in Spotsylvania, the tips were banging. I'm not even gonna lie. So also career jobs, they don't have as many like industries that you could just hop into here that are going to pay just as good. Like, they have some, but again, depending on what your expertise is, it can go left real quick, or it could take you forever to get a job that's going to pay, or you're going to have to commute pretty far. In DC, that's kind of the same too. A lot of people work in DC or Northern Virginia or certain parts of Maryland, and they live in other parts of the tri-state area. But I do feel like the industries there are just a little bit more vast. Like, you can get a good paying job for a lot faster, so that's another con. Another con for me, honestly, my nose, allergy season. Another con for me, honestly, would be the cost of living. Like, Atlanta is, I can't even say it's that much cheaper than DC, to be honest, because DC, for what you're paying for rent or mortgage, it's like if you go to certain places like the outskirts, like for instance in Spotsylvania, rent and mortgage was a lot cheaper than when we lived in Alexandria. And even when I lived in Woodbridge / Dumfries area, it was the same thing. It was a lot cheaper, but I could still get to work and be making 80, 90, 100K a year, and you don't feel the strain as much. But down here, the cost of living is going up, and the pay rate isn't matching, so the gap is for real. Unless you have connections here, it's going to be hard for you to get on your feet. Like, I would honestly say nepotism is big here. If you know someone that knows someone, you can get in a job faster. If you are trying to start from scratch, it's not impossible, but it's definitely going to take you a little bit longer, So I said cost of living, job market. Another con for me, and again, this could be location, is hospitality. Now, it's not really fair to judge Atlanta on this, because where I moved from in Spotsylvania was like top notch for hospitality. Like, you talk about being so friendly. Like, I was cool with the sheriff. I was cool with everyone from the 7-Eleven workers to the people that manage stores and businesses. Like, it was just really like, and again, that could be a small town thing. So that's why I really can't judge Atlanta on it. But, hospitality, second to none. The DC area, you don't feel it as much now as you used to back in the day, but I didn't feel like it was as bad as here. Like here, and that could be because, again, everybody wants to be more important than they are here. So, it can be harder to find. And I think that ties into just people being genuine too. Because I feel like when you're a genuine person, the hospitality kind of comes more naturally, versus when you're someone who's putting on, it's like you're acting anyway. So you're not thinking about your manners as much, or you're not thinking about like, how you come across or whatever, because you're so worried about putting on an air, and making it seem like you more important than you are. Like, no shade, but that's just what it is. So that would be the cons for me that I could think about. Oh, also, public transportation down here is, yeah, it's hard to get around, and everything is so spread out. Like, that's another con too. I'm not going to say traffic is a con, because I've been to enough big cities around the country to know that most big cities are going to have bad traffic. It just comes with the territory, big metro areas. So I'm not going to really ding at ATL on that, but it's so spread out, and public transportation absolutely sucks. So once you get out of certain areas, which honestly I feel is like Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton County, once you get out of there, like catching the bus or something is just not going to happen. Now, I could be wrong. If you're from ATL, let me know down below if there are buses and stuff like that. But for someone who, you know, relies on renting a car right now to get around, it would be nice to just be able to say, like, let me just hop on the bus real quick. And that was something that I had in Spotsylvania too. For a small town, there was a bus that came right outside our complex. I hopped on it. It took me into the town where the mall and everything like that was. And I used to just, you know, go to the store, go to Costco, do what I had to do. And then after I would get my stuff, I would call an Uber or Lyft, and I would go home, and it wasn't that expensive. Here, everything is like so far that with no bus and having to pay an Uber, you can rack up a price, you know? So even with like renting a car, which I just had drama with Turo about. So, you know, my income was starting to be a little affected even before this whole thing broke out. But even to just pick up a decent car from Turo, I have to pay like almost $30 to go get the car, because everything is so spread out. Versus in VA, I could have said, all right, I'll catch the bus and then get to the mall and just pay like a $6 Uber ride to get to the car, you know, and pick it up. So that kind of made me feel some type of way. Also, a big con down here, dating sucks. All right, so if you're thinking of coming to ATL and finding you a boo, it's not impossible. God could do anything. But again, the frauds and the fakes boils over into dating too. There's a lot of men who talk a good game out here, and they just be with all the ish, okay? I'm trying not to cuss, but they just be with all of it. So don't trust what you hear. Believe, what's the saying? Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, or something like that. You got to do that down here. Like, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You cannot trust anybody, okay? Let them prove themselves to you over time, and then let your guard down. Like, if you think your city's bad with fakes, ATL is a whole nother level, sis. Like, come here on your toes. All right, be nice, but always keep two eyes open. Don't trust people as far as you could throw on, period. So I think I covered all the cons for that. Dating, frauds, guys just, and they don't have a commitment mindset down here. Everybody is just like about getting the bag, and that's cool. But when it comes to commitment, you have to really dig deep, like dig real deep. And I said this in my Get Ready With Me and Relocating to ATL video, but I feel like in DC, it was easier to get into a relationship. It's just people wanted certain standards to be met, like you, because we're elitists in DC, okay? We want to be with the shadier, so it's like, I want Michelle Obama 2.0. If you're not that, you can get a man, just be prepared to take some L's. Down here, I feel like whether you take an L or not, they just not looking for a commitment for real. Like, everybody's just looking to play the field, be the next upcoming rapper, upcoming mogul, or whatever the case may be. So love cannot necessarily be a guarantee down here, sis. I'm just going to keep it real with you. But I think I covered all the cons. So let's go into the pros. Okay, the pros. I think the pros, do I even feel like putting this on for real? Let me put some concealer on my eyes. First pro for me, the food. Sis, the food in Atlanta will have you gaining weight. I was out here getting my best life in October, especially because in October and most of November, almost 2 whole months, my family didn't have a home. And if you missed that story, how I moved to ATL video is on my channel. Scroll back and watch that for all the tea. But we were in and out of hotels, so we had to buy food to eat. And sis, when I saw that you could get some bomb meals here for so cheap, what? We were like, why did we move here sooner? You know, like, the food is so cheap. We would go to, like, for instance, the Chinese carryout in the DMV area, even in Spotsylvania, we would pay anywhere from like 30, not even 30, honestly, like $40 to $50 for food for everybody, including some extras like an egg roll or something like that. And it would be like a family of 4, maybe 5 if like my brother was there or something, up to 6 if my nephews are with us. $40 to $50 for Chinese carryout. When we came here to Atlanta, And we saw that we could get Chinese carryout for three of us at this point, because it's just me, my mom, and my sister, and my son just eats off our plate. And we only paid like $24. And I'm talking like everybody got their own soup, their own egg roll, the fancy meals, not just the regular chicken wings and fries or fried rice. I'm talking like the General Tso's, the Hunan chicken, the sweet and sour, the orange chicken, like the quote unquote fancier stuff. We would get those combo platters plus soup, plus the egg roll, plus like the Chinese donuts and drinks, and only spend like $24 to like $27. We were like, dang, like this is so cheap. And then the soul food and the wings, like the soul food and the wings, hands down, you can't beat it. Now the wings are kind of pricey, and them things be real medium. I'm like, what kind of wings are these? They look real like they hungry. Like these wings need something to eat, but you can get some big wings. They just are a little expensive, but wings are pricey anywhere. But compared to other places you would go, you can get some good wings here. And the soul food, sis, you want soul food, ATL got you, period. There's every corner you turn to, there's soul food, and it's cheap. Like we went to this place called Big Daddy's in College Park, and the food was so cheap. We each paid like, I don't think more than $11 for our meal. And the box they gave us those large boxes. They filled it to the brim. I mean, like food coming out the box type of full. And it was heavy. Like I love when I get food and the box is heavy, because I'm like, if I don't finish this all, I got a meal for 2 days. Like I'm all about getting the most bang for my buck. So I love the food here. Food, second to none, and it's cheap. So you would love the food here. Another pro for me is the fact that it is a great place for business. Like the job market is a little iffy, like I said, but if you're someone who's very entrepreneurial, very enterprising, you have great business ideas, you can come here and you could get off the ground, and you got the grind to match, the tenacity to match. You could come down here and you could do pretty good for yourself. So, I do like that, because it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like the fact that everybody's after the bag, trying to get money, trying to be somebody, makes it suck to date, because they just want money, money, money. But on the flip side, it's like, okay, but everybody is looking to improve themselves. So if you find the right circle, you guys can at least like scratch each other's backs. It might not be necessarily the deepest, most, real relationship at the end of the day, depending on what you're looking for, but it can at least be someone to help you get to the next level and share their knowledge, and then y'all kind of help each other in that way. It's kind of like having work friends versus friends, if that makes sense. So I do like the fact that business is thriving here, because if you are an ambitious person and you just didn't quite know what you wanted to do, being here long enough will definitely like put some fire under you to get the ball rolling. This is a cute color combination. I've never done this before. You guys can't really see it on camera, but in the mirror, I'm like, ooh, sis, get it. But yeah, like, you come here and you stay here long enough and you see everybody else hustle, you'll be like, let me go on and figure out what I could do as a business and step my game up, So I do like that. And I think the business laws down here are a little bit better than up in the DMV. I'm not super well versed on that, so don't, count on 100% of what I say in that regard. But just from what I'm seeing, I think it is a little bit better down here than in the DMV. Another pro is the fact that it is a little bit cheaper than up north. Again, it's starting to get to the point, sorry y'all, my nose is like out of control, but it's starting to get to the point where it's matching DMV prices. So pretty soon that wouldn't even be a pro for me, because if I'm gonna be down here getting paid less per hour than for the same job than when I'm in the DMV, and I'm gonna be paying similar rent, I might as well just go to the DMV where I'm gonna be making more, Now where I live, prices are cheaper. Out in Poland County, prices are way cheaper out here in my area. Now there's not a lot of jobs here, so if you want a good corporate job, you're gonna have to go into downtown and deal with that commute. I don't know what the commute is like in the morning, because like I said, I work from home and I freelance, but I can imagine it's nasty like how it was in DC. So I'm really loving this color combination. So that's a pro for me. What's another pro? I'm really thinking here. There are some great opportunities down here. I can't even lie. A lot of the growth that I've seen in my content creation venture, both on YouTube and Instagram, and just other ideas that are coming to me and other opportunities, if I were in the DMV, I don't think I would have gotten some of these opportunities or this rate of growth this fast. I was still growing, but even in Central Virginia, because again, I wasn't in Richmond, and even Richmond, there's a lot of bloggers, but I just don't see a lot of the opportunities that I've seen down here. And I could have been ignorant to it when I was up there. But I will say that if you know where to rub shoulders here, you can see growth in whatever business venture you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, content creation is business, influencing is business. So if you are trying to do that and you rub shoulders with the right people, you can definitely see some significant growth. Because just in 5 months, my Instagram has grown by almost 1,000 people. Actually, yeah, because I had what I think close to the number I have now, and then I deleted a lot of people. So not even in 5 months, I would say in about 3 months, my page has seen almost 1,000 new people, and it's growing every week. I've been featured on the radio, on the Nightly Spirit 104, not 104.1, that was a DC station, 102.5 I think it is here, with Darlene McCoy. I was featured as a night writer, and that helped me get more exposure. I've been to meet and greets here with rubbing shoulders with the creme de la creme of those industries, or whatever their industry is. You know, I've been getting more recognition and more opportunities. People have been reaching out to me to collab with me more, both companies and just other influencers and stuff. So I will say that the opportunities here are kind of unmatched, and that's what makes it hard, because it's like, dang, like I really hate all of this, but I really love all of that, you know? So ATL definitely has a lot of opportunities when it comes to business and just doing artistry and different things like that. You just got to be willing to be around the right people and put yourself out there and put in the work. If you're someone who doesn't want to put in the work, then you could definitely struggle in that area. You know, if you just expect everyone to just like come and fall into your lap. But I've always kind of been I've always been an extroverted person. I can't even say kind of. I've always been an extroverted person. I've always been the type of person that people are just drawn to. So that's never been a problem for me, for real. But, you know, I have to get back into it, because living in the DMV, I got used to just being in my bubble, because I knew everybody there for the most part that I wanted to know. Like, I still would have been networking. I have to, being a content creator, but it wasn't as much pressure, because it's like, I got my base. I know people. I'm good. You know, it is what it is. But here it's like, nah, like, you got to get back in the habit, sis. So huge pro for me. Another pro, I like the geographical location of ATL. I like the fact that I could get to Tennessee. I could get to Memphis, in 2 hours, 2.5 hours from where I am, door to door, so-called. I could get to Nashville in 3 hours. I could get to Birmingham in 2 hours-ish. I could get to Montgomery, I think, in 2 or 3 hours. I could get to Florida in as little as 5 or 6 hours. I could get to South Carolina in 3 hours. I could get to Charlotte in 5 hours. You know, I could get anywhere pretty quick, and I could hit like a nice beach. I could go to festivals. I can get to Dallas. I actually plan to drive there this summer if everything goes well. And that drive will be basically like when I drove from VA to Chicago type of thing. So that's nothing for me. It's like 15 hours, I think, door to door. So I like the geographical location. I like that I could get to these cities and explore them and have fun and then come back home, versus in the DMV, it's like to explore all these southern cities each would be a separate vacation, really, because you have to count in like driving really far, or flights, and then like expensive hotel stays, because you have to stay longer to really explore and stuff. Versus being here, you can say, okay, I'll take a weekend trip, come back, and then like in another 2 months or so, I could take another weekend trip. It could be more regular. And it helps for networking purposes. A lot of my close mommy blogger friends or influencer friends are between Charlotte, like Charleston, South Carolina, Hilton Head area, Dallas. I got a ton of boss babes in Dallas that I'm cool with. And I mean, these are women that I talk with almost every day, at least a couple times a week. I got several in Jacksonville, actually. I got a few in ATL. I got some in, I want to say Alabama. I'm not quite sure, but nevertheless, most of the women I'm really tight with are in this southern area. So I like the fact that we're closer to each other, so it's easier to try to link up. I do have some back home too, but yeah, it's just like, I didn't forget about y'all. Don't be mad. But yeah, I do like the fact that, where's my little, my highlighter brush been fell down. Sorry, y'all, light flickering. I think I hit the cord. But, that's another pro for me. Let's see. I covered the food. I covered the business. I covered the location. Let's see. I don't know. What's another pro? Cost of living. I covered that. I don't know. I think those are all the pros I could think about for real. Like, honestly. And if I missed anything, maybe I'll do a part 2 or something. But overall, my impression of ATL is I'm on the fence. I really am. Like, when we were looking to relocate, we looked between ATL, Charlotte, Richmond, just to be, in the city, but not have to move too far. And then at the last minute, like not the last minute, but like about 3 months or 4 months before we actually had to move, we started considering Birmingham, Huntsville, Alabama area, because I know some people there. And so ATL ended up working out, not really how we had planned, but like I said, based on what people were telling us and how doors were kind of going, we were like, let's just go to ATL. Now, if I could do it all over again and how things went down, I don't think I would come here. I think I would have went to Charlotte, to be honest, because just for what we're trying to do, I think Charlotte would have worked out better for us in a lot of ways. One, their business, they're trying to expand, so they're practically, oh man, I didn't put on primer. I totally forgot. I just saw the primer. Oh well, I'm in the house. It is what it is. But yeah, like, Charlotte is trying to expand as a city, and they're also getting a lot of people, but they're getting about 100 people a day. ATL's getting almost 1,000 people a day. So the rate of growth is slower. It's like almost 10 times lower than ATL. So it's still considered ground floor, but because they're trying to expand and step their game up, they're handing out business loans easier. They're more eager to kind of back you in that regard. And this is just from what I researched. So if you live in Charlotte or you're a native, let me know if that's not correct. This is just from what I gathered by looking online and reading up and watching videos and stuff like that. But if it's different, let me know. If it's not that great for business or whatever. Cost of living is also lower in Charlotte. You could get this house that we're living in, this size and everything like that. We could have been paying, I would say, like at least $300 less a month. Maybe even $400, depending on which part of the Charlotte metro area we lived in. So we definitely would have been saving some money for a fact. That's facts. Okay. Job market. My sister's in finance. That's the thing. My sister has an MBA, and Charlotte is kind of considered the financial capital of the South. So I feel like if she had applied a little longer, or if like I had helped her apply a little longer, she would have found something. Down here, it's hard to kind of get in somewhere because, again, that nepotism comes into play. And because there's so many people down here, everybody's competing for the same job. So now my sister's thinking more entrepreneurial, which in a way is definitely a blessing. But in the meantime, it's hustle mode just to stay on our feet. So I kind of have a half and half viewpoint of ATL. I love the opportunity. I love the food. I love the weather for the most part. Winter was pretty mild. We had some really, really, really cold days, but for the most part, you could be outside in like a regular jacket and not be shivering. Honestly, some days I didn't even wear a jacket. It'll be like 50 degrees and I'm like, oh, it feels great. Like it's 50 degrees down here doesn't feel like 50 degrees up in the DMV. So I didn't have to wear my fur scarf and all that like I usually do back home. So I do like that. I like the weather, I like the food. I love the hustle. Everybody's got a dream down here that they're trying to live out. Another pro I forgot to mention, because people are trying to build a brand and build themselves up, they are more willing to work with you and lock arms for that purpose. Now, like I said, genuine friendship might be a different thing, but it's kind of like, okay, I have a business and I'm like a fashion designer for artists or entertainers, and you're a makeup artist, and I already have a lot of maybe celebrity or up and coming clients, and we know each other. It's like people would be faster willing to say like, okay, well, you're a makeup artist. I already have clients that are looking for a makeup artist. Why don't you work with me? And we just collab that way. I have been seeing that willingness to work together and lock arms better than I did in the DMV. I feel like in the DMV it was very much like a I'm gonna get mine, you get yours type thing. And when you make it, then you can holler at me. But I'm not about to lock arms with you and work on the way there. So that's my thoughts. Great location, great food. This is my look for the night. This is what y'all gonna get, all right, period. I don't have lashes. I don't feel like putting on lipstick. It is what it is. This is like a barely there makeup look. But food is good. Final thoughts, food is good. People will lock arms with you for a common cause. Geographical location is good. Weather is decent. Cost of living is better than up north. And if you're looking to be an entrepreneur or anything like that, or creative, you can thrive here if you put in the work. Okay, you got to put in the work because it's so saturated. The downsides, cost of living isn't as cheap as it used to be. It is getting oversaturated. So you're going to have to you're going to more likely have to claw your way to get to where you have to get to, more than you would like to. That's just the reality of the situation, and stay prayed up. That's important. Yeah, and then the people, just don't trust them, sis. Don't trust them. I don't care how much they yes sis you. I don't care how nice they seem. Do not trust these Bamas. All right, let them prove themselves to you before you trust them. All right, so that's all I have to say about the ATL. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're a native here, I hope I didn't come for your edges too hard. Like I said, it's nothing personal. This is just my experience. I kind of feel some type of way just based on what I've been through, but I am grateful at the same time. It's a weird place to be in. I feel like I'm kind of in the wilderness. It's like I don't want to necessarily move back to the DMV, but I don't necessarily want to say that this is like a dream come true. Like I'm kind of just in between, and who knows if the Lord will have me stay here for a very long time, or if I will end up in Charlotte or somewhere else. So might be come to Dallas to join my sisters out there. You never know. But comment down below whether you're a native or a transplant. Let me know your thoughts about ATL. Let me know if you'd rather live in another city. Let me know. Let's chat and let's be real, okay? Don't be afraid to be real, because that's one thing that we do here on Daily Dell. And let me know also down below if you want to see a DMV versus ATL video in more depth, because there's a lot that I could dive into. Either way, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.